Hello and welcome to our channel Astrology, your journey into this astral world. Today I'm going to talk about the second house, which is known as the house of possessions. The zodiac begins with the first house, which describes your first impression to the outside world. The first house denotes I, me, and myself. But when it comes to the second house, the focus becomes what I have. Therefore, the second house signifies the possessions of the native. Second house is closest to the first house. Therefore, it denotes the things which are close to the native. Most of us feel content when we show our possessions to the outside world, isn't it? So where exactly we can see that in a birth chart? That is the second house. By the end of this video, you would be easily able to answer questions like what is the signification of second house? What role and relatives does second house signifies? And what would be the effect of placement of second lord in all the 12 houses? How it's going to affect the native's life? So without any delay, let's get started. Second house is known as Panafara house, which signifies wealth. Through second house, two things can be majorly seen. The first one is through second house, we come to know the native's family background. And second, how much wealth a native can accumulate in this lifetime. Or what will be a person's earning capacity can be judged through second house. Second house is also known as house of values. By value, I mean both in material sense as well as in inner sense. In material sense, it refers to the accumulated wealth and affluence. In today's world, it can mean anything which can be earned and kept. Your livelihood, income, savings, fortunes, your profits and gains, what resources you have, jewelry and precious stones. Basically, all your movable assets comes under the signification of second house. And when it comes to the inner sense, this house represents your family lineage, your early childhood education, upbringing, and your family values instilled in you. Second house also signifies your self-esteem, your self-worth, how you value yourself. Basically, all the deeper hidden feelings of a person can be assessed through this second house. The character of a person, his speech, the food habits he has, and the goodness and the wisdom he possesses. All this comes under second house. Therefore, this house plays a prominent role in determining if a person can be interested upon. Second house is fifth from the 10th house. It represents the mindset of your mother-in-law. So a quick tip here is, if you want to check the mindset of a native's mother-in-law, this house you need to look. The body parts signified by this house is eyes, nose, tongue, teeth and chin. The relatives signified by this house is your immediate family in which you are born. In Kalpurush Kundli, the second house is ruled by Taurus sign and its lord is Venus. Now, if you want to see how is the second house of a person, you basically need to consider two things. First, who is the lord of second house? And the second, what is the placement of that lord in the birth chart? Now, to check the lord, you need to see the number written there in your horoscope. If the number written there is 1 or 8, the lord will be Mars. If the number written there is 2 or 7, the Lord will be Venus. If the number written there is 3 or 6, the Lord will be Mercury. If the number written there is 4, the Lord will be Moon. If the number written there is 5, the Lord will be Sun. If the number written there is 9 or 12, the Lord will be Jupiter. If the number written there is 10 or 11, the Lord will be Saturn. So in this way, now you have come to know the Lord of second house. Now the second thing is you need to check its placement. Apart from that, if any planet is present in your second house, then it is going to have a strong influence of it. As whenever a planet visits a house, it definitely energizes the traits of that house significantly. If there is no planet present in your second house, then only Lord need to be considered. Whenever a benefic planet is present in second house, it will act as a blessings and provide good results. Whereas if a malefic planet is present in second house, it will create some problems in fructification of the significations. For example, if planets like Moon is present in second house of a native, then there is huge possibility that the person is well spoken and liked by many. Whereas if Mars is present in second house, then there is high probability that the native will have a difficult childhood, or he or she may be harsh or very direct in his speech. So different planets will add different flavors to the second house. Now let's try to understand the placement of second lord in all the 12 houses. Just remember, these are general permutation and combinations which have been given in our text. So they are at a very basic and mundane level. The actual impact can be judged when we take whole chart into consideration. If the second lord comes into the first house, the first house is Lagna. So the person here will generate his wealth through his own efforts. All his savings and fortunes will be made by his own hard work. And even most of it he will spend on himself. Along with that, the second house is house of one's family. So here the native's family will have strong influence in the native's life. Even the native can have good speaking capability. If the lord of second house is placed in second house itself. Now here the native is likely to get his wealth through inheritance and through family's savings. The native here will be a family loving person. The second house also governs one's voice and speech. So if a benefic planet becomes the lord of second house, the native will be blessed with sweet voice. For example, if Venus becomes the lord of second house, then this native will be sweet and soft spoken. If the lord of second house comes into the third house, now the third house is house of communication and house of younger siblings. So when second lord comes into the third house, the younger siblings will be close to the native and they will play a prominent role in establishing native's business. The native's profession may involve short journeys or travel in order to generate his wealth. The native in this case could be impulsive in his action. Being a Upachair house, that is an ever-growing house, things will improve for native over a period of time. If second lord comes into the fourth house, now it is a good placement. Fourth house signifies mental peace and mother. So when lord of wealth, that is your second lord, when it comes to the fourth house, it indicates taking birth in a well-to-do family where all the worldly comforts would have been available. Strong influence of mother can be there in childhood. The native here would be close to his mother as well as his family. So basically a home-loving person. Along with that, there is a huge possibility that the native gets inheritance in any form from her mother. Professions like real estate and property will generate wealth for the native. If your second lord comes into the fifth house. Now, fifth house is house of intelligence and creativity. So here the native will have ability to express himself creatively and intellectually, which will make him a very good speaker or a writer, or he can be a broker in stock market, or he or she may be in educational field. Overall, a very good placement from materialistic point. When your second lord comes into the fifth house, it shows good deeds which have been done in past life and which will fructify in this lifetime. If second lord comes into the sixth house, now sixth house is the Upachaya house, so with time you will get to see the results. These results can be positive or negative depending upon the planets involved. Sixth house is house of service, healing, obstacles, difficulties and limitations. So when your second lord comes into the sixth house, it indicates some kind of issues in the family and relationships. Positive placement of planet indicates good relations and wealth from maternal uncle. If second lord is placed in seventh house, the seventh house is said to be the house of spouse and relationships. So the placement here indicates wealth gain through marriage or a wealthy spouse. The person here may generate his wealth through his business or through partnerships. Basically, relationships will play a major role for the growth of the native. If second lord is present in eighth house, eighth house is said to be the house of longevity, inheritance and legacy. So here the native may get huge wealth from in-laws. And if positive planets are involved, then the person may generate his wealth through occult profession. Eighth house is house of challenges in life. So here the native may face challenges at a physical level. Maybe eyes and teeth issues can be observed here. If second lord comes into the ninth house, ninth house is said to be the house of fortune, house of luck. So here it represents one's religious instincts, his dharma and his good karma. So the presence of second lord in ninth house indicates rich person, wealth from father, inheritance and gains through higher education. Basically, wealth is generated without much efforts. If second lord comes into the 10th house, now 10th house is said to be the house of karma and the house of career as well. So here from profession point, it is a good placement for the native. 10th house is also the strongest Kendra or cardinal house. So when second lord comes into the 10th house, the potential of the native gets pronounced from career as well as wealth generating perspective. If second lord comes into the 11th house, second house is the house of wealth and 11th house is the house of gains. So when second lord comes here, it indicates immense ability of the native to earn money and become wealthy. As the connection between the second and 11th is positive, and here all the desires of the natives get fulfilled in whatever profession he or she is involved in. Even the native here could be a good singer and he can earn his livelihood through his voice. If second lord is present in 12th house, the zodiac completes in the 12th. And being a final house, it indicates ending or final stages of a project. It also rules the subconscious mind. So the presence of second lord here indicates that the native using his energy for the goods of others. The planet in good dignity here helps the native to earn wealth through religious means or making his livelihood in foreign land. The native here may be spendthrift too. Generally, the natives here are seen successful when they are living away from their home. That's it for today. I sincerely hope the information shared today will be useful. Do give it a big thumbs up and share it with the people who are interested in astrology. Till then, bye bye, take care, and remember, be good, do good.